Sell to a process. And what I mean by a process is most people go out and they do this thing where they just wing it, right? And I bet if I were to ask everybody in this room to currently right now write down their sales process, it would be the first time you've ever done it. Because I do this kind of presentation a lot of times, and what I find is people have no idea what it takes for them to go to step one, which is that first touch introduction, to retaining that client after they're sold for many years to come. Right? So kind of the process I go through when I'm in a selling situation is I get first touch, right? And that first touch could be networking. It could be a cold call. It could be marketing, some sort of lead generation, any of those type of things, right? Second step is first meeting, first face-to-face meeting, right? Which means I've met them somewhere, now I'm going to have an actual face-to-face meeting with them. Third step, we're going to talk about assessments only, right? We're going to look at their company, see who they have, who are their key players, right? What are their strengths and weaknesses? Do they have the right butt sitting in the right seats for their company? After we do the assessments, we'll do an assessment reviews and kind of come back together with all these findings. And for me, it's a great way to determine whether I want to work with that company or not. Right? Too often people go into sales calls a lot of times and they think everybody's a prospect, right? But it's not the case. You need to go through your process to evaluate, are they going to be a good fit for me? So after we evaluate, we should move forward from there. We move forward with a training discussion, right? And talk about what that looks like. And then after that, now we're into a retention mode, right? How do I keep them from a long time? And what I found over the years is by selling to that process, it keeps me from going for the gold trophy every time. The gold trophy for me is to get them into sales training. That's where I want them, right? That's where I make my revenue. But not everybody is built or should go through sales training. So I've got to know, stay in my process, follow it all the way through. But it's not only just a business development process, it's also got to be, what is your sales process when you're sitting across from that person? What's your steps you go through to make sure that you're following your system all the way through? And if you don't have a sales process, which a lot of people don't, build one. Come find a company like mine, but build one. You know, how do you start the meeting? How do you get that going? What happens in the middle part of the meeting? How do you talk about money? How do you talk about their decision processes, right? How do you actually present your solutions? It should all be a process all the way through. And if you don't have a process, you don't know where you're screwing up. Right? You don't know what your checks and balances are. You don't know when you should move this prospect forward or should get them out of the system. It's amazing that people have processes to take out their trash, they have processes for accounting, they have processes for operations, but you ask what their sales process is and they're like, what's that? Right? Put as much emphasis in the business development side of your company as you do for everything else.